Good morning, and it's a Saturday again, and we are um, having our bar guide, as you know, based on our schedule. So, for today's topic, it's more of your scheduling. So, among the techniques that you're going to learn from this bar guide series would be how are you going to plot your schedule? And before anything else, you have to consider the factors that would affect so much of your schedule. So, the first, I listed actually three, although there are so many things that could affect your schedule, but I'm classifying them into three. So, the first would be your responsibilities. And in a while, I will be specifying these three factors. So, it's more of aside from law school or the bar review, you have other things to do. And as you know, even if you're a full time student, you still have other responsibilities or other things that you need to attend to. And the second factor that would affect your scheduling would be your the type of learner. Like no person is having the same strategy, or like even identical twins have different ways of learning or studying, what irritates or what they find conducive. Like each is different, or everything is peculiar to one person. There could be general similarities, but there will always be that differences or level of differences. Now, another, or the last, based on my list, the last factor that you have to consider in plotting your schedule would be what do you really want to establish? Although the end goal is preparing yourself for the bar examination. And if you're a law student watching this, what is your end goal would be to study for an exam, to pass all the subjects for the semester, to pass first year, and then to pass fourth year or you graduate from law school. So let's keep that aside, because in a while I will be specifying what do we try, or what should you try to establish when you are plotting your schedule. Okay. These responsibilities I was referring to a while ago could mean your work. And even if you're working or not, the constant or a default responsibility would be your parents, your family, or your children. From one person to person, it varies. There could be parents only, the spouses, the children, or let's say you don't have anyone in your life, like biological or um, um, biological or like legitimate or whatever form of family, like relations, but you still have your friends also. And at the end of the day, again, you are responsible to yourself, like your wellness, your mental and physical wellness, your career development, your self confidence, and the way you want to have to see yourself, or the way you project yourself or you carry yourself. That's something, a personal responsibility. Like as an example, even if I have so many responsibilities, I still try to learn new things. Example, I have to review on some rules on grammar or the English language, or I also need to learn about the human brain. While having all these responsibilities in law school, having my review classes, or having my practice now, I still want to develop some aspects of my person or character. Now, what type of learner are you? So, I identify the opposites, or I am trying to polarize, although there are people who could be in the middle. So there are those who are real crammers. There are those who are planners. It means they plot out things, like if the midterm or the bar is like 6 months, then they're going to distribute. But the schedule, um, they try to like have a projection also of the goals, like each day how many pages will be read, what subjects will be studied. As to my personal circumstance, there are times that I could be a planner, and there are times that I could be a crammer, especially if the subject is difficult. So I'm not, although I would have to admit that I am inconsistent on, like, I cannot apply the same strategy in all subjects, because especially that taxation is not my thing. Commercial law is even my Waterloo. Was thinking that legal ethics was really fine for me. Also remedial law, because I worked as a legal researcher and assistant for 3 years. But so it varies again from subject to subject. Now, second thing that you have to consider also is that, are you a morning or a night person? Like I know some students who are awake all throughout the night, and they sleep during the day. And there are those who have to end their day at 10 o'clock in the evening, and then they wake up at 4 or 6 in the morning. Then they start their day again. And these could affect your schedule, especially that the bar examinations is done during the day, and the schedule is not based in your preference. So I always advise my students, if you are a night person, make sure that during the bar examinations you already adapted to the um, um, news timeline, such that like slowly you change your um, um, time, like, or scheduling, such that if you wake up, you are awake at 2 o'clock in the morning, then you make it you extend your rest, so that during the bar examinations, which you should be in the venue at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're already prepared. You already prepared everything 2 hours prior to that, and make sure that you arrive in the venue before 7 o'clock. So it's a real struggle, but at least now you know it already, and you cannot just say that, oh, I wasn't told, or I was not advised. Then there are those learners who could uh, who want to have complete silence. There are those who want to have music in the background, or they want to be with people. There are those who want to study with people, or just alone by themselves. That's really possible. And the last thing is about your end goals. Is you have to ask 3 questions that would test if your schedule is approved or not. First, is it reliable? Does it make you also a reliable person, or is it shifting? It's like human beings are persons of habits. Like in the morning, you want some coffee, like you have to have your coffee in the morning before the day starts. Then you can do that, like, and within a month or more than a month, then that schedule, or that timeline, the day-to-day timeline, could be relied upon. That it's a habit. You nothing is effortful already after more than a month. Is it really possible? Are you setting your goals that would make it possible for you to execute? There are students who would say, I will read 300 pages in a day. And it's like a very long shot. So, and if you don't reach your goal, then you get frustrated or disappointed of yourself and you feel really bad and you start beating yourself up. Like, oh, I didn't reach this, and tomorrow you have another set of backlogs. So you have to plot your schedule based on your capacity and based on the fact that you reach your momentum, mental momentum, as much as possible. Now, is it effective? An effectivity of your schedule is based on the level of comprehension you have and based on the fact that all the subjects during the bar review period will be reviewed, or no subject is left out. So again, you have to plot things according to timeline, plot things according to the distribution of the subjects. I mean, like, all subjects must be reviewed. You have to tackle everything, and if based on your personal assessment that you need not study this much, but you also have to make yourself study the other more difficult subjects. Example, I really knew during my bar review period that taxation would really be my Waterloo. So I studied so many books. I read so many books, even undergraduate books. I had to look into that because I couldn't remember. I could not remember because in the first place, I do not understand. So I said to myself, since my undergraduate is a pol sci, so I only need like 10% of my time during the whole stretch of the bar review just for political law. But the chunk the big chunk of it was focused on taxation law. And my efforts were not useless because one of my highest grades is taxation law. And I have top three um, high grades. And I remember it's remedial, political, and taxation law. So based on that, you will really have um, to think and realize that your efforts now would surely have effects in the future. So, and again, the best way to have a good plan is to start plotting your schedule, because at the end of the day, it's more of time and your efforts. Sorry if this bar guide has taken so much of your time, but I really hope, and I want to emphasize things, and schedule is really one of the things that would affect your disposition and your mentality as a bar reviewer. And also, if you're a law student watching this, I hope this has helped you so much. And if you think there are persons who can take advantage of these free lessons, please tell them, and tell them to follow or like our Facebook page so that they will be updated. And thank you so much for listening.